is Laura Latta. I'm the Executive Director of the Tulsa Higher Education Consortium. Every single session of the cohort has been incredibly valuable, but I would say the most valuable takeaway that I've had from participation in the cohort has been the relationships and the way that the team has cultivated those relationships by having open and honest conversations about what's going on in everyone's world, what's the biggest thing on everyone's plate, created an opportunity for vulnerability. I really found myself looking forward to those moments because as an executive director, I have so few of those moments to be able to really share what are the pain points and not feel like I'm under a microscope, but that I'm among friends. And that space has been more valuable to me than I can even say.
I think about our closing session together before we had the closing brunch, and we were sitting there having a discussion around a common issue. We were doing a consultancy circle, and as we really began to look at this cross-sector approach, we committed to saying, hey, what if we pulled together our resources and worked on one problem at one place to show the power of collective impact? And as we sat there across these different ways that we're touching the lives of our community, really beginning to commit to making that small act of change. For me, as a collective impact leader, I've led persistence change. This was really practical, very hands-on, and allowed for me to build relationships in the Tulsa community in a very new way that allows for our organization to forge new partnerships.
We had the first peer consultancy sessions or groups, and I happened to be one who shared a situation that I needed some feedback on, and I did not realize how powerful that was going to be to have folks that I have spent significant time with doing some relationship building, and then to share and then pause and share that back to them and what my takeaways. Even today, 5 sessions later, some of the folks on that peer consultancy group were asking me, how are things going with that situation that you talked about? And it has been phenomenal to see that evolution over the last 2 months of how the situation that I thought was going to be extremely challenging, and it has been hard work, has evolved, and through that feedback that I received, I was able to implement several of those things that have made the situation much more manageable and helped me have confidence to be the leader that my organization is.
The last session showcases that for me. We had a prompt. We kind of went rogue, but in our rogueness, we were able to really bond and come up with a potential project that we could do together. The collaboration would be with one of the local schools, and each one of us would be bringing our expertise and really contributing to the outcomes for whatever we came up with as a solution or as a project. But just the opportunity to really talk and to hear each other's perspective about how one situation impacts each of our organizations differently, and then how we could come together.
I think this group has challenged me a lot to grow as a leader, to expand impact, not just in our organization and the programs that we have, but also to reach farther and wider into the Tulsa community.
Somebody who has been in the nonprofit world for 40 years, but what the Coretz Family Foundation has provided is time and financial support to really delve into having smart conversations with people that you don't always sit at the table with.
She is a wonderful facilitator, and she's also so knowledgeable. And so I really have used the tools given to me. I personally in my organization was going through a tough partnership with someone. And I feel like we really got the tool set. I've gone back to those and thought about how do we intentionally do a partnership.
Because of this program and because of this cohort, we really got to explore what one another do and each other's programs, and it's been phenomenal just to see the outreach and outpouring of willingness to help one another.
I think one of the biggest ways is I don't feel alone. I feel like there are like-minded people from every sector in Tulsa where we really want to see systemic change And I think that's probably the biggest change for me, feeling like these are people that I could call on anytime I needed help.
I think the program was really meaningful. I mean, deepening of relationships and building collaboration into our strategic plan and into our organization. I think there's so much value in like setting us to come up with actions and then holding each other accountable.
This summer we had a family in crisis, and because we are frontline workers, we build relationships with families all over the city. We had one family that we learned that did not have air conditioning, that had a large number of people living in their very tiny, dilapidated home. And so we were able to work with some of the organizations in the cohort to get them new mattresses and to get them air conditioners. And then more importantly, get them a caseworker that can help them keep their home. This cohort made me realize that I'm not alone and that I have a whole team of people that I can call for advice or resources. And it really has impacted how we serve kids and the amount of families that we serve.
In terms of overall impact on our agency and our organization, this collaboration cohort has actually allowed us to generate a lot of abstract value in terms of deepening partnerships with pre-existing partners. So for example, we were able to deepen our relationship with the YWCA on some housing programs that we were interested in exploring. It gave me a chance to connect with Dr. Latta and the Tulsa Higher Education Consortium, who I'd worked with previously but never got to know personally. And now I get to say, hey, I know Aaron and Dr. Latta personally, while we're also helping to house people together. Also, to talk in terms of more absolute value, we didn't realize that Gaining Ground was just a few floors above us in the Sun building. And had I not come to know that who Lisa Schatz was, she never would have stopped me in the parking lot on our way to our car and said, hey, I have a family in need of help, can you support? In which case we were able to lean in. And so this collaboration cohort's given us a lot of opportunities to connect with folks in really meaningful ways and in new ways, as well as deepen pre-existing relationships.